Trust me, better mobility is life-changing. Instead of avoiding certain movements or activities or intensities for fear of pain, we can get more joy out of every day. But often our mobility is reduced to a stretch or two here or there if we're feeling stiff, or to restarting that physio program when you start to feel an old injury rear its head. It is worth it to put in the time before we start to re-feel those old injuries, but it can often feel like we can't do enough to make a difference in our time crunch days. So if you've got limited time, here are my 3 essential mobility movements that you can incorporate into your everyday life. And all you need is a space on the floor to complete them. Starting with your feet shoulder width apart, you're gonna press into your big toes and heels and hinge over at the hips, not the waist, the hips, to kind of stick your butt out and get a stretch through your hamstrings, maybe all the way down into your calves and feet. You're gonna actively hold that for just a second and then pull your knees apart slightly to make room for your hips to come down into a deep squat. You can play with the amount of heel lift or toe lift to make you feel this one more through the ankles and lower leg, or to make it less intense at first. You can also use a light household object to add a little bit of a counterweight to make this one easier too. And if your knees don't like deep flexion just yet, you can do this one side at a time by putting a leg on an elevated surface, finding that hamstring stretch, and then moving into a single side lunge. This position will reduce the overall load through the knee, allowing you to work on one side at a time. My second exercise addresses the shoulder and the spine, trying to help us undo sitting and forward movement, which most of our day demands. You're gonna start on the ground. You're gonna put some invisible super glue or imaginary super glue between your knees, lock them together at 90 degrees at the knee, 90 at the hip. You're gonna take your hand, put it out in front of you on the ground. Your opposite hand can be underneath your head if you'd like, and that's more comfortable for you. From there, we're gonna start gently trying to move up with the spine to draw our thumb above us, around over our heads. Now, the key to this one is starting easy. If you try and jam this one as far as you can go on the first rep, your body's gonna close up, not open up. So start well within your current range of motion and gently try to increase that as the minute goes on. You'll notice the rotation here, it doesn't just come from the shoulder, it comes from every single segment of the spine as we're lifting up and turning. So if your shoulders in particular bug you, you can take the shoulder out of this one and just get that spinal rotation happening. Be careful to recheck that those knees haven't slid away from each other or haven't come up off the ground. Stretch number 3 utilizes reciprocal inhibition, which if you don't know about this concept, it will transform the way you stretch, and it's mentioned in a video here to help us get a stretch through the hip flexors and quads. Lying on your front with your hands down or out to the sides, you're gonna start by using your glutes to pick one knee off the ground. Then you're gonna reach that knee and foot towards your opposite hand. How far you go is less important than the fact that you are actively using the back half of your body to stretch out the front half of your body. And the rotation in this one is also a wonderful counterbalance to daily living. If the rotation is too much to start off with, focus on just that first lifting. You're gonna get so much out of just that portion of the movement. And if you watched all the way through, you might have noticed something. All of these movements are actively moving versus just hanging out in a stretch position. So they're gonna be really good to start or end the day with. If you'd like me to make a full follow-along version of these 3 stretches, so it would take about 6 minutes total, then comment down below. And if it's worth it, would totally love to put together that video. Remember, mobility is only one component of feeling adventure ready all year long. If you're interested in knowing the other components, you should check out this video on my 4 tips to stay fit all year long. Have a wilder day. We'll talk to you guys soon.